Question. What do you think the over-under when the WNBA will close up shop? Within 2 or 5 years? It shouldn't ever go under, but then again, it shouldn't exist as is. I'll explain why in a moment. It seems no one really cares about the WNBA. I mean, heck, women's college basketball is more talked about than the WNBA. Men don't watch it. Women and young girls, the target demographic, don't seem to either. There are people out there that believe the WNBA should go away. I disagree. Without the WNBA and also on TV, young girls won't really have any reason to believe that there can be the female equivalent of Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, and the like. There are women's leagues overseas, but no one watches that, and most people are ignorant about them. Without the WNBA, female basketball players will have a small number of places they can go to pursue their dream and make a living. There were several issues the WNBA had at startup: fundamentals, marketing, location, and readiness. The league wasn't ready when the WNBA was being marketed. Initially, the one stop point was women's basketball is fundamentally better than men's. The first few games were sloppy. There wasn't any chemistry, missed passes, missed shots, constant turnovers. The American public only gave it one chance and haven't been back since. As the season went on, it got better. Despite this, it still had a chance to succeed. Location. It seems the idea was to have an association with already existing NBA teams, hoping that the team's popularity would bleed over. I'm about to list the WNBA teams now that are either defunct or have moved: the Charlotte Sting, Detroit Shock, Houston Comets, Miami Soul, Cleveland Rockers, Orlando Miracles, Sacramento Monarchs, Portland Fire, and Utah Stars. Practically half of the teams that were in the league at the time either went under or just moved. The problem, it seems, is that after the initial interest dissipated, people in these cities just found other things to do. The league may have been fundamentally better than the NBA, but fundamentals aren't exciting. It also says something that the NBA didn't really try as hard to save these teams. Between the Houston Comets and Detroit Shock, they won 6 titles combined, and now they no longer exist. That's the equivalent of the Lakers or the Celtics disbanding. The previous women's basketball league was located in cities that didn't have an NBA team at the time, or any pro sports team really. So it was the only game in town and thus controlled everyone's interest. An example, it seems, it would be in Connecticut and Oklahoma City. This was pre the Seattle Seahawks being moved there. Marketing. Who did the WNBA want to attract? I suppose women and young girls. Initially, it was shown on NBC, Lifetime, and ESPN, later occasionally on ABC. However, it seemed they didn't go the extra mile. Nearly all of entertainment on TV or so it seems is directed towards women, but they didn't seem to do the things that television and the movies do to draw their attention. At least not on any major way a major corporation would. At first, it seemed that they wanted to aim at both men and women. This wasn't going to work because their target demographic was going to have to be women. Men had the NBA, and men have never really shown an interest in female sports before, even in big events such as the Olympics or the NCAA. One demographic that the WNBA should have gone after harder is the lesbian gay one. The WNBA wanted to come off as family friendly, but the family dynamic has changed over the years. Also, I think they may have been afraid of any possible sexual connotations. An example would be like only lesbians play in the WNBA, which isn't true. Or that lesbians only watch because they find the players attractive, which probably also isn't true. Some years ago, the WNBA had a campaign that they wanted men to take their daughters or nieces to games. This sounds good, but the problem is women should be doing this more too. Picture this: a ladies' night out going to the WNBA game, or mothers taking their daughters to games. The league didn't focus on this as much as they should have. Men aren't ever going to leave the NBA for the WNBA. Also, games are expensive. If you are going to take your son or daughter to a game, where are you going to get more bang for your buck? The WNBA or the NBA? The majority of entertainment is aimed towards women. The WNBA should have seen how television, movies, and radio attract customers and use those methods as well. Have special events at halftime or before the game that will get women excited. It may seem cloying, but if you want to attract young girls, invite musical groups and other entertainers by or for a performance or a meet and greet. Earlier, I said that the WNBA shouldn't exist. That may have been a bit too strong. It shouldn't exist as it is currently constructed. Other leagues like the American Basketball League and the Women's American Basketball Association have existed. One thing that leagues like that did right was start with teams in states that didn't have NBA franchises so that they were the only game in town. The NBA should have done that also. The regular league season should have also been during part of the baseball season, like maybe from June or late May to the end of August, right before college football season begins. Have only 15 games to start, a livable wage for the players. Most importantly, for the first year, do not show any games on TV until the teams have played at least 7 to 10 games in, because the games will be sloppy, but eventually they will get cleaned up, and when the games are shown on TV, everyone will see the games at their purest and best. I can only hope that the WNBA does make some sort of major changes soon, because really, young girls and women do deserve more.